So the sister's grades are insanely weird. If the brother scores 500, she gets 510.
When he hits 600, she instantly gets 610. Her score is always exactly 10 points higher.
But here is the catch. If the brother skips an exam, her grades absolutely crash. That confirmed his theory. Her grades are literally copy-pasted from his.
With this cheat code figured out, a crazy plan starts cooking in his head.
If he scores over 740 on the finals, will she literally die of embarrassment?
Before the big exam, he studies like an absolute machine, day and night.
Meanwhile, his sister just parties 24/7, completely relying on him to carry her. She gets so arrogant, she stops studying entirely, hanging out with sketchy friends instead. Whenever they catch her, she just rolls her eyes, telling them to stop annoying her. She literally brags that the top score is already hers, and he does not disappoint. During every mock exam, he quietly secures her spot as the #1 student. He wants her floating on a fake cloud while he secretly aims for 741. Honestly, the final semester feels like a dull knife slowly scraping against his nerves. He wakes up before dawn and does not sleep until midnight. No breaks, no distractions, just endless studying. He locks himself in a dark, sunless room to grind in absolute silence. He is like an unstoppable machine, while his sister is right next door. She is constantly loud on the phone or laughing at dramas. Sometimes she even turns the volume way up just to show off her freedom. She thinks she won, but he literally does not care. He blocks out the noise, completely laser-focused on that 741 goal. That number is like a needle in his mind, pushing him whenever he wants to quit. The pain keeps him sharp. But then, around March, things get weird. Lin Xiaoxiao starts snooping around his room, but at first he ignores it. He assumes she is just looking for stuff, but something feels off. But her look changes. She is starting to watch him and test him. One day, while he's solving a brutal math problem, she creeps up behind him. She stares at his draft paper, asking why he is suddenly working so hard. He does not even look up, his pen never stopping. His pen keeps moving as he shrugs. The big exam is close, after all. She leans in to read his notes, muttering that he was never this desperate before. His heart skips a beat, but he keeps his face perfectly blank. Sighing, he acts totally exhausted, asking her if she thinks he actually enjoys this. He claims their parents threatened to cut him off if he misses a top university. Lin Xiaoxiao instantly relaxes, smirking and scoffing at the idea of him getting in. She turns to leave, throwing out a final jibe to not overwork himself. She says the top spot is hers anyway. He just watches her leave silently. Once the door shuts, he picks up his pen with a slight smirk. Let her keep looking down on him. The more she slacks off, the safer his plan is. But she is not totally clueless. Over the next few weeks, she constantly tries to pry into his study progress. She asks which subjects are hardest and what scores he expects to get. She even drops shady comments to try and mess with his head. She wants him to fail, but our main character shuts her down every time. He deliberately controls his scores on every mock exam so he doesn't stand out. He stays in the top 5 of his grade, avoiding the spotlight while keeping suspicions low. But his real trump cards, those brutally difficult problems, are kept hidden deep in his mind. He only practices the trickiest, most complex academic strategies alone in the dead of night. Once he finishes, he shreds the scratch paper and flushes it, leaving absolutely no trace behind. One night, while he's secretly grinding high-level competition math problems, something changes. He suddenly hears whispering in the living room. It is his mother and Lin Xiaoxiao talking. Opening the door a crack, he overhears his mother asking if his brother is working too hard. She mentions how he locks himself in his room all day, barely even coming out to eat. Lin Xiaoxiao just scoffs and asks her mother what she is even worried about. No matter how hard he grinds, it does not matter, whatever score he gets. She will somehow always score 10 points higher, meaning his hard work only boosts her score. Her mother laughs and agrees, saying they should just let him keep working himself to death. Our MC is basically a manual labor force for her. Hearing this, his fists clench tight. His nails dig deep, but he keeps his cool. Honestly, this MC's patience is next level. By late April, he is back in his room grinding practice papers like any other night. Suddenly, a faint sound outside his door catches his attention, and he listens closely. The soft footsteps outside are extremely quiet, as if someone is desperately trying not to be caught. Then, the doorknob begins to turn, moving at an incredibly slow, agonizing pace. He instantly realizes Lin Xiaoxiao is spying on him, but he does not turn around. Instead, he pretends to be completely locked in, but he is already ahead of her. He has already swapped his actual worksheet with a test full of basic, simple questions. All of his advanced study materials are already safely locked away in his desk drawer. Through a tiny crack in the door, he catches a glimpse of his sister peeking in. Seeing her eyeing his desk, he lets out a heavy, deliberate sigh to play along. He mutters to himself, complaining about how he keeps getting these easy questions wrong. Pretending it is too hard, he hears the door softly close as her footsteps fade. Sitting back up, he sneers, realizing the more Lin Xiaoxiao guards against him, the better. It proves she is terrified because she knows those top scores do not belong to her. She is just a parasite, and honestly, watching her act so smug is driving me crazy. During the late May mock exam, he scores 690 while she gets 700. Taking first place in the grade, she throws a massive celebration at home the next day. Their parents completely fawn over her, praising her for bringing so much honor to the family. The table is packed with her favorite foods, while he sits in the corner eating silently. Treated like a complete ghost, he watches as his father sets down his chopsticks with pride. His father looks at Lin Xiaoxiao warmly, praising her incredible performance on this test. He tells her to keep this up, guaranteeing she will crush the upcoming college entrance exams. Lin Xiaoxiao shoots him a smug, condescending look, boasting about her superior genes. Smirking, she mockingly tells her older brother that he really needs to work harder. She warns him not to fall too far behind, or their parents will look bad. He just quietly nods without arguing and goes right back to eating his dinner. Internally, he is laughing, knowing this is officially the very last peak of her life. That night, he lies awake in bed, tossing and turning as his mind races. He is meticulously planning every single detail of what will go down during the big exam. Finally, the June college entrance exam arrives, and on the night of June 6th, it begins. So basically, Lin Xiaoxiao heads out to drink with friends to celebrate early. Instead of stopping her, their mom actually hands her a fat stack of cash, telling her she worked so hard and deserved to relax. Watching this through his bedroom door, our boy does not feel a single thing. He just finds it hilarious. While she is partying, he goes to bed at 8. Setting his alarm for 6 in the morning, he lies there feeling unbelievably calm. Like a swordsman waiting to draw his blade, all his suffering is about to pay off. Next morning, he wakes up right on time, grabs a quick bite, and heads out. Their mom drives Xiaoxiao to the exam, only giving our guy a lazy good luck. He just nods. Honestly, why even care when this is the final countdown anyway? After today, they are total strangers. His exam hall is in the old school building. He gets a third-floor window seat with the warm sunlight shining right on him. Taking a seat, he neatly sets up his pens, takes a deep breath, and closes his eyes. Mentally telling himself he has waited 18 years for this moment, the exam bell suddenly rings. The second he flips the test paper open, his brain goes into absolute God mode. Every single question looks like an old friend. He sees right through every reading trap. The essay topic is literally a prompt he practiced 1,000,000 times. He writes like a man possessed, absolutely crushing the first paper and stepping out. The moment he steps out, Xiaoxiao corners him, wearing a full face of flawless makeup. But there is low-key panic in her eyes as she asks how he did. He says it was all right, making her frown and demand to know what that means. She asks how many he missed, and he just stares. It is honestly so funny watching her try to gauge his score like this. She wants to calculate her own results, but he says he did not check. Xiaoxiao rolls her eyes, totally annoyed by his vague response. She does not press further, simply walking away. He watches her leave, thinking, "Why are you in such a rush, sis?" The grades drop tomorrow anyway, and trust me, she is going to lose her mind. But during the math exam that afternoon, a major disaster strikes. His stomach starts hurting like crazy, probably from eating some bad breakfast earlier. Or maybe it is just the insane pressure, but cold sweat starts pouring down. He collapses onto his desk for several seconds before the proctor quietly rushes over, asking if he is okay or needs the nurse. He shakes his head, refusing to give up. There is no shot he is stopping when he has waited 18 long years for this. Even if he dies, he is finishing this paper, so he pinches his thigh hard. The sharp pain actually works. He keeps writing, even as the formulas and numbers start blurring together. But through pure muscle memory, he forces himself to finish every single problem. He even triple checks the final boss question. Once he is absolutely sure, he finally puts down his pen and walks out. He is completely drained at this point, collapsing into a quiet corner to rest. Right after, Xiaoxiao texts him, asking how the math test went. He texts back that it was normal, and she immediately sends a smug emoji. She clearly thinks she secured the bag, but he just laughs at her ignorance. Talk about being blissfully ignorant. The next day of the Gaokao was science and English. At this point, RMC felt his energy mostly recovered. These two subjects were his absolute strengths, especially those brutal physics problems. From complex chemistry deductions to genetics, he had grinded these exact questions countless times. Our guy was completely in the zone, finishing with 20 minutes left to double-check. He meticulously reviewed every single answer twice, making absolutely sure there were zero mistakes. His English was flawless, too. There was no way the graders wouldn't give him top marks. When the final bell rang, our guy stepped out of the building and looked up at the sky. The sunlight was incredibly blinding, but he did not turn away. He just stood there, letting the warm light wash over his face. 18 long years, and he was finally free! Until Lin Xiaoxiao immediately blocked his path. She was dressed in loud, flashy colors today, looking just like a proud, annoying peacock. With greedy eyes, she eagerly asked him how he did, and he replied that it went better than ever. He had never aced an exam like this before, and hearing that, Lin Xiaoxiao's eyes instantly lit up. It was like she saw a mountain of gold, immediately running off to brag to their parents. She was screaming to them that since her brother aced it, she must have done even better. Watching her skip away in pure joy, our guy could not help but grin. But that was the chilling smile of a hunter watching his prey walk straight into a trap. She was like a moth diving straight into a blazing fire, mistaking it for the sun. During the summer break, Lin Xiaoxiao completely let loose, guaranteeing her parents she would rank top in the province. She even secured a massive allowance advance, immediately buying the most expensive top-spec phone and computer. She took her parents' hard-earned savings and went on a massive spending spree with her trashy friends. Her social media was flooded daily with posts of her flexing her expensive lifestyle. The girl literally had no idea she was digging her own grave. One night, our MC scrolled past her feed. She had posted a photo from a high-end restaurant, bragging about the future top scorer celebrating early. Our guy watched all those fake friends showering her with praise, and honestly, it was just pure comedy. Meanwhile, he just wanted to visit his grandpa in the countryside and asked his parents for basic travel money. But before he could even finish speaking, his mother snapped at him without even looking up. Her tone was incredibly cold, telling him there was absolutely no money to waste. She demanded to know if he was blind to the fact that Lin Xiaoxiao needed money. It was honestly disgusting. They refused to give him even a single penny. Yet they showered Lin Xiaoxiao with endless cash. This was his biological family. His father sat on the couch watching television, coldly chiming in that if he wanted to go so badly, he should earn the cash himself and stop expecting anything from them. Our guy did not bother arguing. He silently turned around and walked back to his room. The very next morning, he headed straight to a construction site to do brutal manual labor. The scorching sun was absolutely merciless, leaving him completely dizzy and exhausted. But he gritted his teeth for 2 weeks, saving up enough for his ticket and gifts for his grandfather. Those 14 days were easily some of the most grueling days of his entire life. But he successfully saved over 1,000 yuan, which was plenty for the trip, and some health supplements. By total coincidence, the day the exam scores dropped was also Lin Xiaoxiao's 18th birthday. She wanted to use this moment as her grand coronation in front of all their friends and family. So she threw a ridiculously lavish banquet inviting every single relative they had. Even their parents' colleagues and bosses showed up, packing the entire luxury banquet hall. As loud congratulations filled the room, a distant relative walked over holding a wine glass. He squeezes right in front of the father with a huge fake smile, greeting old Lin.
Your ancestors must be smoking with pride to have twins this incredibly successful.
Another relative chimed in, though their tone was low-key dripping with sarcasm.
The eldest son just blindly studies. He is clueless, unlike sweet Xiaoxiao. Her grades are crazy good and she is super smart, literally 100 times better than him. Laughing, all the younger cousins crowd around Lin Xiaoxiao, treating her like a total superstar. One cousin is actually green with envy, crying out that Sister Xiaoxiao is just too amazing. Holding a top-tier college acceptance letter in one hand and her handsome boyfriend in the other. She is a total winner. Everyone asks when scores release to witness the birth of a top scorer.
Easy now. If she is in the top ranks, elite university admissions will call her early.
Just as those words left his mouth, a phone actually started ringing off the hook. But it was not for her. It was for our main character, Lin Mo. Under everyone's utterly confused glares, he answers one call after another from top elite university recruitment teams. Tsinghua and Peking admissions, plus recruiters from several other prestigious Ivy-level schools. He politely thanks them all, saying he will give it some serious thought. Lin Xiaoxiao's eyes practically pop out of her skull as she glares at her dead, silent screen. Gritting her teeth to save face, she forces out a pathetic excuse that the absolute best
Always comes last. Finally, the portal opens and everyone rushes her to log in and show them.
Meanwhile, in the quiet corner, our guy casually opens the page too, even though he already knows he cooked. Still, actually checking the final score gets his heart pumping a little, palms sweating. His mom turns to him first, asking about his score with zero real interest. When she shrugs and asks, he casually turns his screen toward the entire room. In a completely flat, deadpan voice, he says he got 741. The room literally gasps while he holds back a massive wave of pure, ecstatic triumph. Keeping a poker face, he thinks, I actually did it. The plan worked. His mom is stunned for a split second, giving a stingy nod of approval. Without even looking twice, she immediately pivots and lunges toward Lin Xiaoxiao. Her voice shakes with pure excitement. Quick, Xiaoxiao's score must be way higher. Everyone crowds around the sister so tightly she has literally nowhere to run or hide. With shaking hands, she clicks the submit button, and her entire face instantly freezes. She looks like she just swallowed a fly as 3 bright red numbers flash on screen. 751. Her voice is violently trembling, and the entire room suddenly goes dead silent. Some clueless relative who didn't get the memo starts blindly hyping her up again. Wow, 751? That is 10 points higher than your brother. Xiaoxiao is a literal prodigy. But wait, if I recall correctly, is the maximum possible score on this exam not just 750? The air completely freezes. She panics hard, cold sweat instantly ruining her perfect makeup. Smearing mascara everywhere, she stammers that it must be a system glitch. Too many people are logging in. She frantically refreshes like a madwoman. Tapping so hard she might shatter the glass. Once, twice, 3 times. But that cursed 751 is still locked right there on the screen. Someone suggests trying another phone, and she grabs it like a literal lifeline. Snatching their device, she logs in again. The result? Still 751. That impossible extra 1 point is like a massive, burning slap across her face. And just at that perfect moment, the banquet doors are kicked wide open. A few uniformed police officers and Education Bureau officials march right in. They look dead serious as the lead officer scans the entire room. He asks who Lin Xiaoxiao is because the system flagged her abnormal score. She is suspected of a cyber attack or major exam fraud and must go. Lin Xiaoxiao's legs instantly give out and she collapses right there. Her face is white as a ghost and her parents completely panic. But instead of comforting her, their immediate instinct is finding a scapegoat. In a complete panic, her mother suddenly shoves Lin Feng forward. She screams that he did it because he was jealous and hacked the system. He changed the scores, officers. Investigate him. It is not her fault. These parents are absolute trash. throwing him under the bus without hesitation, even with a ridiculous excuse.
It makes zero sense, but anything goes to save their precious princess.
Sacrificing him is nothing, but his heart is dead and finally free.
Lin Feng brushes her off, staring coldly at these absolute clowns. No hacker here. He is the top scorer of the province.
Lin Xiaoxiao's over there, the one with that fake score.
The furious dad rushes to slap him, but Lin Feng catches his wrist.
His terrifying gaze stops his dad. Go ahead and try me. The police are right behind him. He is safe. Top schools want him, and media is begging. Try touching him now, from this moment. Nobody in this house can ever control him again. No more bullying. This party meant for bragging is a circus. It is a complete disaster. Lin Xiaoxiao gets dragged away. Total chaos. This massive 751 exam scandal goes viral. The topic trends instantly as the entire internet grabs their popcorn. People call them greedy, asking if they went crazy buying grades. Others say cheating takes brain power, and getting 751 out of 750 is just insulting. It insults the system itself. Users quickly find her social media. Turns out she was just partying and never actually studying. Everyone destroys her online, assuming she bribed someone but messed up. She changed it too much. Lin Feng feels deeply satisfied. He feels incredible. He has waited 18 long years for this moment. Now everyone sees the truth. The investigation results drop fast. Her answer sheet had a weird glitch that scanned an extra point. There is no hard proof of actual system hacking, though. But to keep things fair, the board makes a wild move. They decide to use a backup exam and force her to retake the entire thing alone. She is chilling on the couch, scrolling her phone when news hits. Hearing about the retake, she jumps up, her face turning pale. Retake? Why do I have to do that? My score is real. The system just glitched. Her dad sits nearby. He looks furious and snaps at her. Keep it down. The neighbors will hear. The mom paces frantically. The parents try to calm Lin Xiaoxiao down while scrambling for a plan. They tell her not to panic, saying a retake is fine. Since she is so smart, she will definitely pass anyway. But Lin Xiaoxiao completely loses it, screaming and throwing a massive tantrum on the floor. Sobbing and screaming, she desperately demands that Lin Tian retakes the test with her. She literally screams that she wants him sitting right next to her. She lunges forward, grabbing his arm and digging her nails into his skin. With terrifyingly red eyes, she shrieks that Lin Tian absolutely must do this, asking if he heard her, but he just shoves her off. His voice is ice cold as he asks why he should ever retake it. Lin Xiaoxiao freezes, staring at him with eyes full of absolute disbelief. She never expected a refusal, and their mother instantly steps in to yell at him, demanding to know why he cannot just help his sister during this crisis. She claims this affects their family honor, so why cannot he just do it? Watching them beg like this is honestly so satisfying, yet incredibly pathetic. It is only about Lin Xiaoxiao's pride, which never had anything to do with him. He rejects them flat out and walks right back to his room. Locking the door behind him, he completely ignores the frantic banging and constant screaming. Naturally, the education board rejects their ridiculous demand, cornering Lin Xiaoxiao completely. She has to retake the exam alone inside a secure conference room. Cameras are rolling 24/7, with 3 proctors staring directly at her. They make sure she cannot cheat, and predictably, she absolutely bombs it. Her final retake score is a pathetic 157. Honestly, she always had a 300-point baseline and spent months just dating. She was too busy dreaming of being #1 to ever study. When the results drop, Lin Tian is working hard at a construction site. His classmate texts him the news and he literally stops in his tracks. He suddenly bursts out laughing, making his coworkers think he has heat stroke. He just waves them off, saying he is just incredibly happy. This retake exposes her completely, going from 751 down to that. And oh man, the internet absolutely cooks her in the comment section. People are saying 157 is her actual level. Now everyone knows for a fact that her previous score was fake. Unable to handle the massive backlash, she tries to defend herself. She posts old report cards, but netizens dig up her entire history.
Her sudden academic spike makes no sense, since she always scored around 300.
Now the internet is absolutely convinced she has been cheating all year.
Meanwhile, the internet manages to dig up Lin Tian's academic records too.
Every single exam shows he consistently ranked in the top 3. Now this is what a real genius looks like, consistently elite.
People are literally questioning if they are even related given the massive gap.
One is the top scorer in the province, while the other struggles.
Reading through these comments, Lin Tian feels a sudden wave of mixed emotions.
He once believed that scoring well would finally earn his parents' love. But the harsh reality is they would always prefer his worthless sister.
See, his trash parents didn't actually want a successful son.
They just wanted a tool to cover for their daughter. And all those teachers who used to praise Lin Xiaoxiao?
Now they avoid her like the plague. Even the parents get mocked whenever they step outside.
The neighbors are constantly gossiping, saying the daughter is actually just a brainless fraud. Cheating everyone for years is honestly peak embarrassment. The karma is so satisfying here. During that time, Lin Xiaoxiao just hid in a room, too terrified to show her face.
Living like a rat, she kept her curtains tightly shut all day long.
Her mother even had to leave meals at the door because she refused to see anyone.
Meanwhile, our boy Lin Tian grabs his elite medical school acceptance letter and heads back to his grandfather's place.
He figured once classes started in late August, he would finally be completely free. Or so he thought. Honestly, the countryside summer heat is absolutely brutal, like living inside a steamer. But he finally feels at peace here at his grandfather's old house by the mountain. It is just a simple clay house with a massive locust tree out front and noisy cicadas. Not annoying at all. To Lin Tian, this was his only true home. He was dumped here as a kid under the excuse that the country air was better.
They claimed it was for his health, but they just found him to be an eyesore.
They wanted Lin Xiaoxiao to have all the love and resources without any sibling competition. His grandfather never spoke ill of his parents, choosing instead to quietly care for him. He taught Lin Tian to read and constantly reminded him to rely only on himself. His favorite saying was that studying is the only way out for poor kids.
Lin Tian took those words to heart, spending over 20 days enjoying the peaceful cottage life. Every morning, he helps feed the chickens and spends the day reading in the yard.
In the afternoon, they walk the fields, and by night, they relax under the locust tree.
The grandfather shares old stories about how mischievous Lin Tian's father used to be,
and how hardworking his mother was when she first married in. Listening to these unfamiliar stories,
it feels like hearing about a completely different family, because in Lin Tian's memory,
his parents were never that warm. One quiet evening, they were sitting in the yard. Under the bright moonlight, his grandfather suddenly asks how he did on the college entrance exam.
Lin Tian thinks for a moment and says it should be pretty good. The old man nods.
His grandfather looks up at the moon, a rare spark of light in his tired eyes. He quietly mutters that good is enough, letting out a soft sigh. In a raspy voice, he tells Lin Tian that he has high hopes for him. Lin Tian lowers his head. Honestly, this part hits right in the feels. In his entire life, only his grandfather ever truly believed in him.
The only one who truly wanted him to succeed. Lin Tian promises to take him to the city.
But the old man just smiles like a kid, saying he could never adapt to city life. Just knowing Lin Tian cares is enough. That night, lying on the clay bed, listening to the insects outside, he knows that once the official results are released, everything will be set in stone. He is going to show them. Lin Tian is no pushover. He is nobody's stepping stone. On August 12th, with 2 weeks until school, he's helping his grandfather dry corn. He pours baskets of golden corn onto bamboo mats across the yard. As he spreads them out, the phone in his pocket suddenly rings. It is his mother. Lin Tian freezes. His mother literally never calls him.
The last time she called was right before the exam, just to ask about his score.
All right, so our main character, Zhao Tian, answers a phone call, feeling immediately suspicious. A frantic sob comes through the line as his mother desperately calls his name.
She tells him to hurry home because his dad is suddenly dying.
Zhao Tian completely freezes in shock, almost dropping what he is holding. He immediately asks what happened and which hospital his dad is in. but she just keeps crying, dodging his questions, and repeating that he needs to return. Just come home, she begs, before abruptly hanging up and leaving him standing there. His mind is a total mess when his grandpa walks out of the room.
Seeing Xiao Tian looking pale, the old man asks what happened, and Xiao Tian explains everything.
Grandpa's face pales too, and he urges him to pack his things and go. No matter what their past is, that man is still his father.
Xiao Tian nods, rushing back to his room to throw some clothes into a bag.
Right before he leaves, Grandpa runs out and shoves a cloth bundle into his hand. It feels heavy, as Grandpa tells him to keep it for emergencies. Inside, Xiao Tian finds a stack of crumpled cash.
It adds up to about 2,000 yuan, all earned from selling eggs. This is the old man's hard-earned retirement fund, and Xiao Tian tries to refuse.
But Grandpa already turned away, his frail, stooped figure looking so small in the doorway.
Holding the bundle, Xiao Tian's eyes tear up. It is a long journey back to town. That means taking a 3-hour train and then transferring to high-speed rail. The whole trip will take 10 hours, so he buys the earliest ticket available. On the bumpy bus, the outside scenery blurs past. But as he sits there, his brain starts working. Something is highly suspicious here.
No shot. His mother's crying sounds way too dramatic, like a terrible actress.
Plus, she never mentioned what disease his dad had or which hospital he was in. She did not even give any details, just desperately begged him to come back. If his dad was actually dying, she would have named the hospital immediately.
She kept saying come back, not come to the hospital. Come back home?
If his dad was in the emergency room, why was she calling from home?
Her voice had this weird panic that did not sound like a worried wife. It felt more like she was terrified he would refuse to show up. So Xiao Tian calls his father's phone, but the line is busy.
It is still busy when he tries again, so he changes tactics. He dials one of his father's colleagues from work instead.
Xiao Tian politely asks if anything had happened to his dad recently.
The colleague sounds totally confused and says his dad was perfectly fine last week. He was actually buying everyone dinner. Xiao Tian tells him it is nothing. Saying he probably just misheard some news, Xiao Tian quickly hangs up. I knew it. They completely lied to him. He stares out the window. Strangely, a wave of relief washes over him. He is not cold-blooded. Can we blame him? He just knows his toxic family way too well. If his dad was actually dying, Lin Xiaoxiao would be farming sympathy points online.
There is absolutely no way she would stay quiet about it.
So if this is a scam, what do they want from him? At this point, the real answer is obvious. Lin Xiaoxiao messed up big time. That 751 score joke is still trending. Honestly, even if he repeats, he is never getting into a good college.
Because without our main character, that kid is absolutely nothing.
Meanwhile, our boy is about to start fresh at the country's top university, completely escaping this toxic swamp. But his family is definitely not going to let that happen. In their eyes, his only value in life is just to be a stepping stone for Lin Xiaoxiao. A literal tool and a human blood bag. Once he realized this, he actually stopped worrying. He is actually totally calm now, like a patient hunter waiting for his prey to walk straight into a trap. But this time around, the hunter and the prey are completely switching places. Since they want to play games, he is going to play along until the very end. But he is writing the final script. On the train, he uses the cash his grandpa gave him to buy a cheap backup phone and a power bank. He fully charges both devices and downloads an app that automatically uploads recorded video directly to the cloud. He tests it 3 times just to make sure everything is completely foolproof. He also texts his future college roommates from the freshman group chat to explain what's happening. If they don't hear from him for 48 hours, they have instructions to call the police immediately, and he shares his live location with them.
Better safe than sorry. His future roommates are like, holy crap, bro.
Is your family really that crazy? Don't worry, we've got your back. Go handle your business, and if anything goes wrong, we will call the cops immediately. Stay safe and keep us updated. Reading those replies, he feels a genuine wave of warmth. Total strangers are willing to protect him, while his so-called flesh and blood are trying to ruin his life. Talk about a brutal plot twist. By the time he reaches his old neighborhood the next evening, the sunset is painting the worn-down buildings in a dim orange light. Standing downstairs with his suitcase, he looks up at the place he lived in for 12 years. but never once felt like he belonged. He takes a deep breath, heads upstairs, and knocks. The door swings open, and his mother stands there with bloodshot eyes, looking like she just had a massive breakdown. She freezes for a second, but then immediately forces a fake, welcoming smile onto her face. "Oh, Xiaotian," she says, "you are finally back. Come on in!" Honestly, her sudden enthusiasm is so fake it is actually crazy. It literally gives him goosebumps because she has never treated him like this in his entire life. Keeping his composure, he quietly steps inside the house to see what is going on. His eyes scan the living room, and he spots his father sitting comfortably on the sofa, watching television. He is holding the remote control, looking completely healthy and fine. There is absolutely no sign of a medical emergency here. Our boy stands at the entrance. Holding his suitcase, he calmly asks, "Wait, didn't you say Dad was sick?" Why is he watching television at home? The living room instantly goes dead silent. The dad looks up, clearly feeling extremely awkward under his son's gaze. The mother's smile freezes, but she quickly covers it up, claiming it was just a false alarm. She says his dad felt sick yesterday, but the doctor said it was nothing serious.
Since he is leaving for that top university soon, they just wanted to have a family get-together.
Hearing her say the words family dinner makes him sick to his stomach. It is pure hypocrisy, but he does not expose them yet. He just nods and goes along with the act. As he steps inside, the corner of his eye catches a glimpse of Lin. Xiaoxiao is huddled in the corner with messy hair and a pale, sickly face. Massive dark circles bruise the skin under her eyes, looking nothing like her past self. The former golden girl of the family is completely unrecognizable. Seeing Xiaotian walk in, she raises her head. Her eyes are a mess of pure resentment. There is fear mixed in too, but Xiaotian just ignores her gaze entirely. He heads straight to his room at the very back of the apartment. It is a tiny, cramped space that never gets any sunlight. It was literally a storage room before he moved back for school. Meanwhile, his sister Xiaoxiao got the massive, sunlit master bedroom. Seriously, the unfairness in this household is low-key infuriating. The favoritism has always been this obvious. Xiaotian shuts the door. He immediately sweeps his room, checking the desk, shelves, and wardrobe. Checking under the bed to ensure no one tampered with his things, he pulls out a spare phone. Finding a sneaky angle, he hides it among some clutter on his shelf. He points the camera right at the door and hits record. Setting it to silent ensures no notification sounds will ruin his setup. With everything prepped, he lies down on the bed, pretending to nap. But he is hyper-focused, listening closely to every single sound from the living room. For dinner, the mom subtly cooks a massive feast and actually calls him out. She even serves him, saying Xiaotian has gotten way too thin. She tells him to eat up since he is leaving soon, but he barely tastes anything. His brain is working overtime, trying to guess when they will show their claws. After dinner, the dad clears his throat to set the stage. It looks like the manipulation is starting as he addresses his son. He claims there is something he wants to discuss, and Xiaotian looks up. He plays along, putting on the perfect face of confusion. The dad explains that Xiaoxiao is not doing well after her college exam disaster. She is deeply depressed now and will not even leave her room. He says the parents talked, and since Xiaotian is her twin, and her closest family member, he needs to spend more time with her. Xiaotian knows this gentle act is just the build-up to their trap. Right on cue, the mom steps in to test the waters. She reminds him they are twins, bound by blood. Family has to support each other, so helping his sister is only natural. But Xiaotian remains silent, just staring at them with cold eyes. The silence stretches, before Xiaoxiao suddenly looks up. With tears welling up in her eyes, she calls out to her brother. She says she finally realizes her mistakes after thinking it over. She apologizes for the past and regrets how she treated him. She begs for another chance, and honestly, her fake acting here is top tier. But Xiaotian is not buying any of it and directly asks what they want. He instantly shatters the fake piece because he is done with their mind games. The parents exchange a tense glance, trying to read him. Finally, the dad drops the act and starts spilling the real plan. So the parents actually came up with a way to get Xiaoxiao into college. Lin Tian just raises an eyebrow, letting his dad ramble on. He starts talking about her exam scores and that weird 10-point rule.
You probably know this best. There is a special connection between you two. As long as you are around, she magically scores high. Hearing this, Lin Tian feels his heart skip a beat. No way! She actually shared that secret with them? His dad steps right in front of him. His voice is dead serious as he says that he and the mom have already decided. They want him to delay going to Tsinghua and repeat a year to take the exam together. That way Xiaoxiao gets into a top school too, giving their family 2 elite graduates. Talk about bringing honor to the family. Lin Tian is completely stunned. Not because the request is absolutely insane, but because of how they said it. They have so much audacity asking for this, acting like it is the most natural thing. Like throwing away his own bright future to save Xiaoxiao is just his job. The mother immediately swoops in, grabbing his hand with a greedy, calculating look on her face. She coos that this is not even bad for him since he is so smart. He can easily ace the exam again next year and lock in that top scorer title. Plus, with 1 extra year of prep, the top universities will be begging him to join. Best of all, Xiaoxiao gets a bright future too. Isn't that a win-win for everyone? But Lin Tian fires back that he already has his admission letter, so why repeat? His dad just waves it off dismissively, asking what a letter even matters. If you do not register, that thing just expires. Come on, you are the big brother. What is wrong with letting your sister have this? When Xiaoxiao makes it big, she will share? This has got to be the funniest joke ever. Ain't no way they actually said that. Lin Tian flat out says no, and his dad's face immediately darkens. The mom freezes in complete shock while Xiaoxiao snaps her head up. The desperate begging in her eyes instantly turns into pure hatred. Dad stands up, looking down. His tone turns threatening as he demands to know what Lin Tian's problem is. They tried to discuss this nicely, but he just rejects them without a second thought. Lin Tian asks if they really want him to skip college for someone who scored only 157? To carry her into an elite university, his dad snaps that she is his sister. As the older brother, helping his sister should just be common sense. But Lin Tian points out he has already spent 18 years helping her. They gave Xiaoxiao every single resource while dumping him in the countryside to rot. Now that she completely ruined her own life, they suddenly care about him? No shot. Demanding he ruin his career to clean up her mess, his dad slams the table, yelling his name. He screams at him for having such a bad attitude. Lin Tian says yes, this is his attitude. He refuses and walks toward his room. Behind him, Xiaoxiao starts screaming hysterically, demanding to know how he can do this. She screams that his high exam scores actually belong to her anyway. Lin Tian spins around to tell her those scores were earned by his own hard work. She has absolutely nothing to do with it, and stealing his points was just pure luck. It was never her own skill, and definitely not leverage to blackmail him with. This completely shuts Xiaoxiao up, and she instantly bursts into tears of frustration. Furious and crying, she looks helpless. The mother rushes over to shield her. She points directly at Lin Tian, screaming at him for upsetting his sister. He asks if they even have a conscience, before walking away. He heads inside and locks the door. Right on cue, crashing sounds erupt outside. His crying mom and screaming sister, Lin Xiaoxiao, make it absolute chaos. Leaning against the door, he closes his eyes to block it out. Surprisingly, he feels incredibly calm. The real battle starts now. They will not give up easily. But he has patience. He stays awake all night. Staring at the ceiling, he waits until 2 a.m. Suddenly, there's a soft rustling sound outside, like whispering. He holds his breath. It is his parents. His mother whispers, but he hears everything. She suggests sneaking in to steal his stuff while he sleeps. If they steal his ID and letter, he cannot leave. They want to do it tonight. Right then, footsteps approach. His heart races. He stays still. Pretending to sleep, he watches the doorknob slowly turn. Thank goodness he locked it. Outside, his mother curses quietly. She complains about the locked door and leaves. They think he cannot escape anyway. The footsteps fade away. Staring into the pitch-black room, he lets out a cold smile. His toxic family is trying to trap him just as expected. From the second he stepped inside this house, it was a trap.
But what they do not know is that he is 10 steps ahead.
This high-stakes game is far from over. The next morning, he tries the door, locked from the outside. His heart sinks. He checks the window. The security bars are welded shut, leaving him zero escape routes. They cut the internet, but he uses mobile data to text his roommates. He tells them he's safe for now, but things look bad. He tells them to stand by. Around 10, the door opens. His mother walks in with porridge and a totally fake smile. She asks if he is hungry and if he has changed his mind.
She sighs, calling him Xiao Tian, and drops a threat.
She tells him to be smart and yield.
Even if he got into a top school, who will pay?
They will not give him a single penny, making him broke. He would have to crawl back anyway, especially without that letter.
She hints his admission letter might be gone unless he behaves. She wants him to repeat a year, promising full support later.
No obedience? She leaves the threat hanging. The threat is clear. He stays silent. As soon as she leaves, the door is locked again. Just like that, he is officially under house arrest. By day 2, the anxiety starts creeping in, and not from fear. But because time is ticking away and his college start date is getting closer and closer. He needs to escape, fast. On the 3rd day, he decides to risk it all. It is 2 a.m. Everyone is fast asleep. He creeps out of bed, using a tiny nail file to pick the lock. Old spring locks are pretty easy to bypass, but it still takes him 10 tense minutes. Finally, click. The door creeps open, and he holds his breath. Moving step by step, the living room is completely pitch black. He feels his way toward the exit, heart hammering against his ribs like crazy. The floorboards groan beneath him. Every single creak makes him freeze and listen. Once the coast is clear, he steps forward. Right as his hand reaches out to touch the front doorknob, the lights flash on. He completely freezes. His father is standing right there in the hallway, holding a thick wooden club. That face is pure fury. He was waiting for this. Lin Tian knows he has to run. No time to explain. He immediately bolts back toward his room. But he is too slow. The father rushes him down instantly. His mother and his sister Lin Xiaoxiao are already standing in the shadows. They just watch. Not a single person steps in to stop it. After beating him, the father gasps for air, telling him he is never leaving. He is trapped in this house forever unless he agrees to retake his exams. Lin Tian lies on the floor, his entire body trembling. It is not from fear. It is pure rage. 18 years of enduring this abuse almost makes him snap right here. But he holds back. Honestly, his self-control is built different. His evidence is not enough, and his backup plan is not ready yet. He is dragged back and thrown onto his bed, the door slamming shut. They even add a heavy padlock on the outside so he can never jimmy it. It is unpickable. He lies on his back, feeling the stinging burn scream. The pain only sharpens his mind. For 2 days, he plays the perfect, quiet son. No more escape attempts. He eats when they tell him to. He sleeps on cue, pretending he has finally given up all hope. His parents think the beating broke him, so they slowly lower their guard. But the lock stays on. Escape is still physically impossible. He uses this downtime to closely study their daily habits, learning exactly when they sleep, when they wake up, and when they move. This is the patience of a true regression main character, guys. He is waiting for the perfect strike. On the 4th night, they finally make their move. At 2:07 a.m., the lock on his door clicks softly. This is not an accident. Someone is actively unlocking his door. Eyes shut, he keeps his breathing steady. He acts like he is fast asleep, but his nerves are screaming. The door creaks open. Light footsteps echo through the room. They are trying to be quiet. By their breathing, he knows there are 2 of them. It is his mother and father. Stealing over to his desk, they start rummaging through his things. He lies perfectly still, but his heart is pounding like a drum.
Xiao Tian knows exactly what they are hunting for, his ID card and university admission letter.
These 2 items are his only ticket out of this absolute hellhole. And the family's only leverage to keep him trapped. The room-wrecking noise goes on for minutes. He hears his mother whisper, "We cannot find the leverage. Where do you think he hid it?" "Keep looking," his father snaps. "It is definitely in this room." They tear through his desk drawers, strip the bookshelves, and ransack his backpack. Even checking every single pocket of his clothes, suddenly he feels someone walk over and stand by his bed. Probably debating whether to search his pillow. "Did you find it yet?" a voice asks. "Don't wake him up." Lin Xiaoxiao walks in looking totally annoyed. Her heavy footsteps are way louder than their parents'. Obviously, she does not care.
She honestly does not care if she wakes him. Xiaotian feels her standing right over his bed,
staring down at him with an icy, judging look. Honestly, her gaze feels like a literal venomous snake. He can feel her icy breath on his face. Then her voice cuts through the dark, cold and totally confident. "Quit acting," she sneers. "I know you are wide awake." Instead of pressing further, Lin Xiaoxiao just joins her parents in tearing the room apart. She is way more brutal than her parents, slamming books from the shelves straight onto the floor. Ripping drawers completely out. Now, Xiaotian's ID card? It is hidden deep inside his pillowcase. The admission letter is folded tiny and literally sewn right into his suitcase lining. He really thought they would never find them. But he completely underestimated Lin Xiaoxiao's pure madness. She violently yanks his pillow away and starts feeling it, squeezing every single inch. It is like a prison guard searching for contraband. No corner is left unchecked. The exact second her fingers hit that hidden pocket, her hands freeze. Then she lets out a thrilled scream. Found it! Xiaotian's chest instantly tightens. But he still does not move. Next, she launches herself straight at his suitcase, dumping everything onto the floor before violently ripping the inner lining apart. The sound of tearing fabric is incredibly harsh, her nails frantically scraping against the cloth, until she finally feels that hard piece of paper. At this point, Xiaotian snaps. He bolts upright in bed and slams the bedside light switch. Lin Xiaoxiao was standing by the suitcase, clutching a single envelope in her fist. The envelope holding his hard-earned admission letter. Her face looks like she just hit the lottery. Just pure, ugly greed. Xiaotian glares right back at them. His voice is ice cold as he demands to know what they are doing at midnight. The three of them exchange looks. All right, so the act is officially over. The father slams Xiaotian's ID onto the desk, speaking up with zero shame. "We are not going to beat around the bush," he says. "Xiaoxiao told us everything. As long as you're around, she can get top-tier test scores. This is just your fate as brother and sister, so you had better accept it. Xiaotian, listen to your mother. Repeating 1 year will not hurt you at all. You are so smart, you can easily get in again next year. By then, Xiaoxiao will also have a school. Our family will have 2 prestigious college students." Isn't this a total win-win? But Xiaotian snaps back. "I said no." He gets up to snatch his ID back, but his father violently shoves him away. He stumbles back hard against the wall, sending a blinding wave of pain through his injured back. The toxic father leans in close, dropping a chilling threat. "Do you really think you have a choice here? Starting today, you are not going anywhere without your ID card? And without that admission letter, you can't go to top universities. You'll stay home and repeat the year. Once you take the exam next year, everything will go back to normal. Nobody is holding you back." Our main character takes a deep breath, forcing down his absolute rage. It's not the time to blow things up yet. He needs more evidence. So he asks them calmly if they came tonight just to confiscate his stuff. The mother sneers, not even bothering to hide her trash behavior anymore.
Why call it confiscation? Everything in this house belongs to the parents anyway. You are still a kid. Why shouldn't we keep something as important as an ID?
What is wrong with us keeping it safe? At this point, he looks over at Lin Xiaoxiao. She's slowly pulling the admission letter out of the envelope with a smug, vengeful smirk. She holds up the letter like a trophy she just won. Then she does something he will never forget. Gripping the paper tightly, pure, manic hatred burning in her eyes, she slowly rips it in half right in front of his face. The sound is loud and sharp, literally heartbreaking to watch. But she isn't satisfied yet. She keeps tearing the halves, shredding the paper into tiny pieces that drift to the floor like snow. She moves so slowly, deliberately destroying the starting point of his new life.
Just like that, his hard work is torn to pieces. Lin Xiaoxiao looks
At his face and laughs like an absolute psycho. The letter is gone.
Let's see you register tomorrow now, she sneers. You will always be my stepping stone. Honestly, this sister is pure evil.
She's shaking all over, hair completely disheveled, looking totally unhinged.
Why are you always better than me? Why does everyone praise you? Why do you get to go to top schools while I get laughed at? That success should have been mine. Tears finally spill from her eyes.
But they are not from sadness. They are filled with pure, crazy jealousy.
But suddenly, her voice drops, almost whispering to herself, or maybe to him.
Do you know how terrified I was? I always knew my grades were fake.
Stolen right from you, she confesses with a completely twisted face. Before every exam, she was scared to death that he would stop studying or fail. Terrified everyone would find out she is a total fraud. She screams that she hates him. Hating him for being smarter? Honestly, it's hilarious how. She actually thinks he got those high scores without trying at all. She screams that she hates herself even more because without him, she is nothing. That's why you can't leave. You have to stay. You have to always be my stepping stone so that I can survive. Our guy just stares at her, the person he called his sister for 18 years. For the first time, he finds her incredibly pathetic. But pity won't change anything. Being pathetic is not an excuse for her to ruin his life. His parents just stand there, watching Lin Xiaoxiao go completely wild. Not a single soul steps in to stop him. They actually look proud. Like he did something heroic, and honestly, watching this makes my blood boil. Honestly, Miss is so absurd and low-key heartbreaking to watch. Talk about toxic family dynamics. So much for blood being thicker than water. He stares down at those shredded papers on the floor, shoulders shaking as they assume he is crying. They think he finally broke, and his mother just sneers at him. She tells him in her most arrogant voice to stop crying over nothing. It is not a big deal, she says. Just retake the exam next year. Take it as a lesson and learn to be more obedient next time. He does not say a single word, just crouches down on the floor. He picks up the shredded pieces with trembling hands while Lin Xiaoxiao stands there gloating. The villain is absolutely enjoying this, telling him that this miserable life is his actual destiny. But when our boy looks up, oh man, the bully completely freezes. Because there are literally zero tears in his eyes, only a dark, icy hatred.
And then he flashes a quick, chilling smirk that instantly terrifies Lin Xiaoxiao.
The kid instantly takes a step back, asking what is so funny, as our boy slowly stands up. His voice is incredibly quiet but calm, telling the kid that his performance just now was truly spectacular. If his life falls apart, he can always go become an actor. Instead of fighting back, he plays along and slumps onto the bed in fake despair. Staring blankly into space, he just mutters quietly to himself. Seeing him look completely broken on the bed, Lin Xiaoxiao finally lets his guard down. The bully gets insanely smug, mocking him for only being afraid now. His dad just huffs, completely unimpressed by his breakdown. He literally pockets the main character's identity card and tells everyone to go to sleep. From now on, this kid isn't going anywhere. The three of them walk out of his room like they just accomplished some grand mission. Before leaving, his mother locks the door from the outside with a very quiet click. That sound hits him like a lightning strike as the room is plunged into complete darkness. He sits on the bed, listening to their footsteps fade down the hall. Once the entire house falls dead silent, he stands up and goes straight to his bookshelf. Reaching deep into a pile of junk, he pulls out a hidden backup phone. This idiot searched his entire room but missed this one spot. They completely ignored the pile of junk they thought was just trash. The video captured every single detail of Lin Xiaoxiao destroying the college acceptance letter, along with his parents standing by, looking on coldly and even encouraging the madness. Their entire malicious scheme is captured right here on tape. He immediately uploads the clip to the cloud, creating several secure backups. To ensure nothing goes wrong, he edits a short, punchy version of the video. He posts it online with a caption calling out his toxic, abusive family. Right after that, he dials the police to report that his family is keeping him hostage.
He calmly gives the dispatcher his exact address and explains the whole situation.
The operator tells him help is on the way and to stay safe.
Once the call ends, he silences the phone and hides it back under the junk.
Crawling back into bed, his heart is racing, but he is totally thrilled.
But on the surface, he had to stay completely calm. No clue when the police would get there.
He didn't know what would happen first, but surviving tonight was the only thing that mattered. Everything would change after this. Time was just crawling by. Outside, the sky slowly began to turn gray. He just stared up at the ceiling, eyes wide. Straining to catch every single noise, it was 4:23 in the morning. Footsteps. It was Lin Xiaoxiao. She was sneaking around, trying not to wake anyone up. But in the dead silence, it was loud, and then she stopped right outside his door. He froze, breath held. The lock clicked, and she sneaked inside. He immediately closed his eyes to fake sleep. His heart was literally pounding like a drum as she stood right next to his bed. He could feel her staring down at him with pure suspicion. Talk about high tension. Then she started pacing around the room, footsteps getting closer, then fading away. Like a wild beast patrolling. What was she even looking for? A seriously bad feeling washed over him as her footsteps suddenly stopped at the bookshelf. Chest tight, she's searching. She was tossing things around. Under the sheets, his fingers gripped the blanket tight. His mind was racing. If she finds that phone, he is absolutely done for. Silence. Absolute silence. You could literally hear a pin drop. She whispers, "What is this?" Oh no, she found it. Game over. He bolts upright, eyes snapping open. He catches her holding the spare phone, the red recording dot still blinking on screen. Her face twists from confusion to pure, unhinged rage. "Lin Yan, you are recording!" She screams and lunges forward. Like a rabid animal, no shot he can dodge this in time. Her nails claw right across his face, pure, burning pain. He grabs her wrists and the two of them start violently wrestling on the bed. She might be a girl, but right now, she is fighting like a maniac. Her strength is insane. They crash into the nightstand, sending the lamp smashing down. Total disaster. Too loud. The parents wake up instantly, and the dad bursts in to see this total chaos. Without even asking, the dad shoves him back, yelling, "How dare you hit your sister?" Clutching his head, gasping. "I didn't hit her," he says. "She's the one who attacked first." But Lin Xiaoxiao scrambles up, still clutching that backup phone like her life depends on it. She runs back, victim mode.
"He was secretly recording us," she cries. "He filmed everything."
The dad's face completely drops. He snatches the phone, glaring down at the screen. His expression gets darker by the second. The veins on his forehead are literally popping. "You are really something, Lin Tian," he yells, slamming the phone hard onto the floor. The screen shatters, but the dad keeps stomping on it like a madman. Stomping until it is absolute scrap metal. Lin Tian just watches his crushed phone. But honestly, he is not even sweating because the video already uploaded to the cloud. That phone was just bait, but he keeps his cool and hides his satisfaction. Instead, he fakes total despair, acting like his last hope was just brutally crushed. His mother rushes in next, her face turning completely pale at the sight. He barks at Lin Tian that this is far from over. The man orders the kid to stay put and not even think about leaving. If Lin Tian dares to post that video online, he will pay dearly. The father storms out, cursing, warning the mother to watch the boy like a hawk. His mother sighs that he disappointed her, claiming they only did this for the family. She asks why he cannot understand, tells him to reflect, then finally walks out. The door locks from the outside again, but this time they barricade it with heavy furniture. Hearing chairs scraping outside, Lin Tian sits alone in the middle of his ruined bedroom. Leaning against the wall, he rubs his swollen cheek. They have no clue the cops are coming. They also do not know the video is already online, thinking breaking one phone solves everything. Talk about a classic bad move. The real storm is just starting as the hours tick by. The sky brightens as 6 in the morning approaches. Suddenly, the father's phone rings. What follows is his voice, filled with absolute panic. He screams out about some video, followed instantly by his mother's sharp, piercing shriek. Then comes Lin Xiaoxiao's desperate crying. The entire house descends into pure, unadulterated chaos. Lin Tian smiles, knowing his upload just went viral. Hours seem to drag on after that. Maybe 30 minutes pass, or maybe a full hour. Then, a massive, urgent pounding rattles the front door.
Angry voices shout from outside, demanding they open up immediately.
The mother panics, asking old Lin what they should do now. The father tells her to stay calm and hide the boy, claiming he is not home. Lin Tian listens. Hide? Where could they possibly hide him? Outside, the voices warn that if they do not open up, they will break the door down. The pressure is too much. Lin Tian hears the front door finally click open. A wave of tense, muffled chatter fills the hallway. The exact words are hard to catch. But it is obvious his father is desperately lying, trying to smooth everything over. A few minutes pass before the heavy barricade blocking his bedroom door is finally scraped away. The door swings open, revealing 2 police officers standing in the doorway. They frown the second they see him. The younger officer steps forward immediately. He asks if he is Lin Tian, the one who posted the video, and Lin Tian nods. The officer takes in his bruised face, swollen lip, and the wrecked state of the room. His face hardens, asking who did this. Lin Tian points right at his father. The father quickly interjects, claiming it is just family business and he's just disciplining his son. The older officer glares back at him, questioning if he seriously just called this family business. This is literal unlawful imprisonment and restriction of personal freedom. The officers explain they received an official report early this morning. They were told a teen was locked inside by his own family, backed by video proof. He tells the father to look at it himself, asking if this looks like family business. The screen shows the parents ransacking the room and the sister madly tearing up the admission letter. His father turns pale as a ghost, while his mother physically begins to shake.
She nearly collapses onto the floor, while Lin Xiaoxiao cowers in the far corner.
Messy hair, empty eyes. Looking like a squashed bug, her time is up.
The police tell Lin Tian she needs to give a statement, and she simply nods. Standing up, she steps right over the shattered glass on the floor, walking past her father without a word.
When the trash father tries to grab her, the officers instantly swat his hand away. They warn him he is under arrest for illegal confinement and assault, telling him to back off. Honestly, his face looks like he just swallowed a fly, angry, terrified, and totally powerless. Without even giving him a second glance, she walks straight out the front door. Behind her, the mother starts wailing, crying out that Xiao Tian cannot treat them like this. She screams that they are her parents, asking how they can ever show their faces again. Stopping in her tracks, she tells them they stopped treating her like family long ago. Now they can suffer too. Lin Xiaoxiao screams that Lin Xian will regret this, promising he will get revenge. Staring at his ugly, twisted face, she calmly delivers the ultimate final line. She tells him to mark her words because from today on, they are completely cut off before stepping into the police cruiser. She never looks back once, finishing up her statement at the station by noon. Based on the video evidence and her physical injuries, the father is officially being charged with assault and false imprisonment. He will be prosecuted, while Lin Xiaoxiao faces charges for destroying personal property. Even though the admission letter came from the university, it was legally her private property. So he must take legal responsibility, but she still asks what happens to her destroyed admission letter. Can it be replaced? The officer suggests contacting the university, promising that the police will provide all the necessary official documentation. She nods, and as she steps out of the station, the blinding sunlight hits her, making her squint as she looks up at the open sky. Honestly, it feels like waking up from a long, suffocating nightmare. She is finally free.